So I came and I said, hey, when we were on our date and you said, I want you to be present in this moment. Stop talking about work. Like, why did you say that?
I didn't say stop talking about work. I said all you're talking about is work.
That's really different.
It feels different to me.
Okay.
One is like telling you what to do.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Maybe it's not that much different.
I will accept
One felt a little
that
bossier than the other.
distinction in your mind.
So I was in this training this morning for Focus on the Family. I'm a contract therapist with them. And they were teaching this principle about when you have all these emotions and you react out of those emotions, and then it creates this conflict cycle. Because then I just react, and then that pushes your buttons, makes you feel some certain things, and then you react. So they talk about taking a pause. And the first step is the awareness piece. Being aware of when your buttons are being pushed or when you're having these emotions that make you want to react in a non-pleasant way.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Some people are hyper aware of what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Some are less aware. But even the ones that are hyper aware, I don't know that they're always... Well, they may be aware as they're reacting. So
Yeah. The trick is to be aware before you react.
Sure.
To be
Sure.
aware when those emotions are, when you're feeling those emotions.
right.
And, catch it. Part of the awareness is I feel like reacting like this. But also part of the awareness is what's going on inside my body. What are those alarm bells? And so the trainer said, well, what are yours? Asking me. So thankfully, I've already done some work in this area, so I did know. But for me, I get a pit in my stomach when things aren't going well and I see conflict coming. My stomach gets tight, I get a pit, kind of nausea, and my throat sometimes will close up, and I get this fuzzy thinking. Like, it's just, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm thinking or feeling right now. Like, I just can't think clearly and think straight.
Right. Kind of like fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
You kind of go to freeze.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is definitely my response.
That makes sense. I feel like I'm less in touch with what I'm feeling in my body, but I feel like I am pretty in touch with the emotions that come.
So when we're in a conflict, like, what tells you things aren't going well?
Well, probably a sense or feeling of anxiety.
Well, where do you feel that anxiety?
I don't know. I know the whole deal that I should be able to feel it in my body, and maybe I'm just not in tune or aware of
It could be.
what I'm feeling in my body. So what definitely does happen is there are categories of emotions that I'm more likely to feel.
Yeah.
That are kind of common triggers, because they're tied to needs that are important to me.
Yes.
And so if I'm going to feel strong emotion, it oftentimes will be in a category of feeling things like rejected would be a common one. Controlled would be another one that I would quickly feel. And maybe because I feel out of control in those cases. To be controlled is to feel out of control. So those are a couple. Disrespected, if I feel not considered in that sense of the word of disrespected. So maybe it's just that those are familiar feelings that I'm able to connect with pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And know what I'm feeling. And sometimes I'm able to grab those quickly enough to not react to them.
Yeah.
And that really is what's so important, is to be able to pause before you react.
Reacting. Yes. Yeah. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Oh, that's true.
It really does take really knowing yourself and doing that investigative work. Like, after an argument, dissect it. Like, what was going on? What was I feeling? How was my body reacting?
Yeah.
And do some of that work.
Very true. For me, when I feel something doing that work and journaling helps. I tend to access what I'm feeling through my mind more than my body. Therefore, journaling is an effective way for me to be able to get at what I'm feeling. And asking myself, not just what do I feel, but what do I fear, will oftentimes bring up, okay, that's it.
That has been really different for us because we do reflective listening, we talk about our feelings, but to add the element of what do you fear? It's like, here are your emotions, and that gets pretty deep, but your fears, like, you like go really deep with those fears.
Yeah. Man, there's just so many examples of where that is just unlocked something new and different.
Yes.
That the thing that we're talking about is not really what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the fear underneath the thing.
Yeah. So this trainer, we were talking about all this. These are all skills that I've learned it from Focus, is to get to the fear. He'll say, a lot of people will say, well, I fear this thing happening. So a good follow-up question is, if that thing happens, what will you feel?
Oh, that is good.
And that'll get to the feeling that you're fearing.
Oh, that is good.
Yes.
Yeah. Getting to the feeling that you're fearing.
Yes.
Because that's the thing. That's what all of that
driving
is about.
Everything. So let's give an example. So we were on date night last week, and Derek was talking a lot about work things. And to me, I felt like you were like worried, or like, I don't know, it felt like you weren't present is what I said. I said, well, make sure that you're present, because all you're doing is talking about work.
Yeah. And I was present.
You're like, well, I am present. This is what I want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, and the one I was actually thinking about was a different
someone
one.
different. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's finish this one up.
Yeah, sure.
So then you had asked me later when we got home, so what did you mean by being present?
Yeah.
What?
Well, and so what was behind that was, it was kind of bothering me in that moment. So I was thinking about it afterwards, like, how do I talk about it? And I decided it would be good to get curious around what you meant.
Yeah, instead of creating a story in your mind, which I really appreciate you asking me that.
So I came and I said, hey, when we were on our date and you said, I want you to be present in this moment, stop talking about work. Like, why did you say that?
I didn't say stop talking about work. I said I've been talking about his work.
That's really different.
It feels different to me.
Okay.
One is like telling you what to do.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Maybe it's not that much different.
I will accept
one felt a little
that
bossier than the other.
in your mind.
Yeah. So what did I say about that? Just that it felt like you were in your head.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, that it felt like I was in my head.
Yeah, and then how did all this unfold? So, then you were talking in the bathroom on Wednesday.
Yeah, we were both getting ready for work, and I was just sharing some things that were weighing on me with work. And specifically, just there are a number of unknowns of, we need to hire somebody, and we need to build a team here, and it's not happening, and just feeling the weight of things that aren't coming together as quickly as I would like them to come together, and that I'm just feeling the weight of the unknowns. Yeah,
and the thing that got me was he said, and then I'm thinking that, and then I'm thinking this, and then if that happens, and then this, and then what do I do about that? It was just like on and on and on. I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds so stressful.
Welcome to my world.
And then I said, so no wonder it affected you when I said all you're talking about is work, because you have all this on your mind and it's really affecting you, and the way that you process through it is by talking about it, and you want to talk to me about it, and I want to be that person for you. And when I said that all you're talking about is work, kind of shut you down, and you were just needing to talk through it with somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that meant a lot to me that you acknowledged that and said, I want to be that person for you. And all of it's in balance. I mean, there does come a point where it's like, okay, let's talk about this for a couple of more minutes and then let's talk about something else. And I'm fine with that. It just kind of felt abrupt in the moment.
Like the door was slammed shut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I do is I like white knuckle it, like, okay, here we go again. All right, just hang on. This is what he needs, And then I'm like, oh, I'm tired of talking about this. And then for you, it feels like it's a sudden. For me, it's building.
Yeah, it feels like all of a sudden it's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I probably need to get better at just mentioning earlier on when I'm noticing it.
I mean, if that's what you think you could be better at, then I support you.
You don't disagree.
I support you in your thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.